Hello and welcome tonight. I am Adam Ringham, Adam Ocean. I am your host tonight. I am a co-founder and co-owner of GlycoGenix, along with my good friend Joseph Phillips, the man with the plan, the ultimate genius. And together we have created GlycoGenix. And tonight, what I was going to do is we're going to be talking about two of our products from Glyco C plus to the big C. But what we're really going to be highlighting is why they were created the way they were created with the bioflavonoids and the full spectrum vitamin C, not just an isolate from it, and why this matters, why it's important, and why you're going to care. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the presentation and give a visit about it. So, we are going to be talking about bioflavonoids, the health benefits and mechanisms of action. So, bioflavonoids are a very diverse group of plant compounds, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, cardiovascular, protective, and they're found in many fruits, vegetables, plant-based foods, especially citrus peels, berries, grapes, apples. And they've been studied extensively for their health benefits, from immune function to skin health to weight management, cognitive function, basically you name it in the human body, they are involved in it. So, with their super broad range of biological effects, they support cellular health, they reduce the risk of chronic disease, and definitely improve overall wellness. And so, tonight we're going to be talking about these biological processes, target key genes, and we're going to be talking about these extremely powerful tools and why they were included in Glyco C plus and the big C. So let's talk about some of the common bioflavonoids in citrus peels. So there's a ton of them of hesperidin and rutin, and there are tons and tons and tons of different bioflavonoids in especially citrus peels. And that's one of the big reasons we chose citrus peels because they're extremely high in bioflavonoids. So these bioflavonoids provide incredible antioxidant protection. So they help to act as antioxidants. They neutralize reactive oxygen species and free radicals that are produced just during cellular metabolism, and of course, the exposure to the environmental stressors. So these ROS and free radicals lead to oxidative damage in tissues, DNA, contribute to age-related diseases, cardiovascular functions, neurodegeneration. So bioflavonoids like quercetin and these other ones have demonstrated this potential antioxidant activity. And so bioflavonoids, if we've got just straight vitamin C, that's like having a star athlete without the supporting team. So if you have just the star athlete, not the supporting team, you're not really going to get very far. And that's what the bioflavonoids are. We've got vitamin C is kind of like the key player here of the team. It's the all-star. But the bioflavonoids are the team that come help with it. So primary genes that are impacted by this antioxidant protection is superoxide dismutase 1. So it encodes an enzyme that neutralizes superoxide radicals and major ROS produced during metabolisms. So catalase, an enzyme responsible for breaking down hydrogen peroxide, a toxic ROS into oxygen water. GXP1, which is a glutathione peroxidase 1, plays a really critical role in neutralizing free radicals, prevented oxidative damage. So a lot of people know about glutathione and how important it is. Vitamin C and bioflavonoids are enormous for the recycling of it. So we've got NRF2 as well. We can upregulate this. It's a master regulator of antioxidant defense and responsible for activating these genes that encode these antioxidant enzymes. And so symptoms of deficiency, we're going to get increased oxidative stress. Your stress is just going to, your stress systems are going to just plummet. You're going to get cellular damage, premature aging, and you get some really big risks like cardiovascular disease, cancer, neurodegenerative conditions. Your collagen production is going to plummet. So the research and the conclusion of these bioflavonoids are really recognized for their antioxidant activities, which help reduce the oxidative damage, improve our cellular function, and we can do key genes, SOD1, CAT, GPX1, NRF2, and these bioflavonoids also help to recycle vitamin C when it gets into its reduced form or its oxidized form. These bioflavonoids can help recharge it. So we also get anti-inflammatory effects of it. So bioflavonoids have been shown to modulate immune pathways, reducing pro-inflammatory cytokines such as TNF alpha, interleukin 6, interleukin 1 beta, and even NFKB, necrosis factor kappa beta. And we can do inhibit the activity of COX2 and 5-lipoxygenase, which is really responsible for the synthesis of these prostaglandins and leukotrienes. And these are key mediators of inflammation. And so these flavonoids also help to reduce inflammation conditions like arthritis, cardiovascular disease, asthma, inflammatory bowels. And so the big one down there is the NFKB, the nuclear factor kappa beta, is a critical transcription factor basically involved. It's the king granddaddy basically of inflammation. It's the gene that, or it's the nuclear factor that when it turns on, it literally binds to DNA in the cell and tells the cell to start producing inflammation. So the more you can regulate NFKB to knock down this inflammation, some of these anti-inflammatory genes and symptoms, COX2 is involved in inflammation and pain, TNF alpha, tumor necrosis factor alpha, key pro-inflammatory cytokine, interleukin 6, another inflammatory cytokine. NFKB is a protein complex that controls DNA transcription. It's really the granddaddy of inflammation. Interleukin beta is a cytokine promoting inflammation. PGE2 is another lipid that mediates inflammation and pain. So these are primary genes that are impacted, and the symptoms of a vitamin C deficiency outside of scurvy, we can really take a look at arthritis and cardiovascular diseases, asthma, chronic inflammatory conditions, joint pain and swelling. So these are direct manifestations of the issue. So these anti-inflammatory effects, we have the research and the conclusion by taking and bringing down these inflammatory cytokines, COX2, NFKB, we have some really therapeutic benefits in these chronic inflammatory genes. So citrus peels especially are really high in there. That's why we used multiple citrus peels in both Glyco C plus and the big C, was so that we would get the quercetin and this hesperidin and these other compounds that are these really powerful anti-inflammatories. See, these bioflavonoids really contribute to cardiovascular health, vascular function, endothelial function, reducing vascular inflammation. They help to boost blood flow and promote nitrous oxide. So, man, anybody worried about their downstairs getting that extra NO2, these citrus are incredible. Also, unbelievable hormone protection. Vitamin C is an unbelievable hormone protector. So we can also in cardiovascular health get plaque prevention. We can get blood pressure reduction, reduce blood pressure, improve lipid profiles, reduce platelet aggregation, and really big for cardiovascular health and vascular health. So men wanting to keep their member working, big thing right there, and ladies too. I mean, the more blood flow we get, all the better. So the key genes, we got ENOS, PPAR, alpha, SIRT1, VGEF, MMP9, TNF alpha. You can read all of these, but these are key cardiovascular genes that are involved with bioflavonoids. And so the symptoms of the deficiency, blood pressure, cholesterol, plaque formation, poor circulation, and increased risk of heart attack and stroke. So basically, our conclusion on this, we can find all of these genes, the more positively we can impact these, the better off your cardiovascular health is going to be. So also cognitive function, neuroprotection, vitamin C and especially bioflavonoids have a really potent antioxidant, anti-inflammatory property, reducing and protecting the brain and reducing oxidative stress, which is a huge contributor to all these neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS. So we can even get neurogenesis support out of here. Bioflavonoids, especially quercetin, support neurogenesis, creation of new neurons, help to enhance synaptic plasticity, improve memory formation. Anybody that's a neurohacker, biohacker out there, one of the most overlooked things in the neurohacking world is just straightforward bioflavonoids. And so we can signal and modulate brain-derived neurotropic factor, BDNF, and Krebs signaling pathways, which are really high up in neuroplasticity, learning, memory, cognitive function. And so by reducing neuroinflammation, promoting pro-inflammatory cytokines, and microglial activation, this is all things that we can accomplish with bioflavonoids. So cognitive function genes, we got BDNF, we've got Krebs, MAPT, SNCA, interleukin 1 beta, TNF alpha, NFKB. And so the symptoms of just a vitamin C deficiency, as crazy as it sounds, which many people, you'd be amazed how many people actually have that cognitive decline, poor memory, difficulty learning, neurodegeneration, depression, anxiety, serotonin burnout, especially the screen addiction that people get from scrolling and the dopamine hits. These vitamin C and bioflavonoids are huge for helping to produce and recycle and allow the receptivity of these neurotransmitters as well. So the researchers and conclusions, basically looking at these bioflavonoids, they've been shown to enhance memory formation, neurogenesis, synaptic plasticity, protecting from oxidative stress, protecting reducing neuroinflammation, helping to prevent neurodegenerative diseases, and actually really promoting cognitive function, reducing the risk of age-related cognitive decline. So neurogenesis, memory, learning, neuroinflammation, neuroprotective, and then taking a look at many of these neurological diseases, how we're able to help offset them. So antimicrobial and antiviral effects as well. Bioflavonoids have really potent antimicrobial and antiviral properties, primarily by inhibiting adhesion, replication, and the toxicity is a big one as well. So also when we get into this little group here, we're going to be talking mold and Lyme disease as well, of the toxicity that comes from those, from the byproducts that are out there. Viral replication interference, such as herpes simplex, virus, influenza, other common viruses. Bioflavonoids and vitamin C have a direct impact on interfering with replication. And we also get immune enhancement by activating immune cells, macrophages, T phages, promoting immune response, pathogen clearance. Also, vitamin C and bioflavonoids are exceedingly useful during fasting for improving autophagy. So anybody that likes to do any kind of fasting for any kind of cleanup in their body and autophagy, adding this Glyco C plus or the big C can drastically enhance the autophagy that comes from it. So primary genes, toll-like receptor 4, TLR2, IL6, NFKB, we already talked about that one. IL1B, we talked about that one. TNFA, INF, interferon gamma, MHC class 1. And so it's amazing how quickly, if you are vitamin C deficient, that your immune system suffers drastically. So, I mean, this is one of the big reasons that scurvy, one of the huge things where they get the term limey bastards from. Basically, it's because the limes they would have to bring on, and usually they'd fill the rum with that and they take a shot of it. But very quickly, if you go without vitamin C, the body starts to degrade extremely, extremely quickly. Chronic fatigue, your teeth start falling out. There's like scurvy can set in pretty fast, and actually, there's so many people in America and actually all across the world that are basically pre-scurvy at this point. And so anybody working with gum health and oral health and just their energy levels, period, recycling, stress response, bioflavonoids are hugely involved in that, as is vitamin C. So skin health, vitamin C helps to drastically promote collagen synthesis. If you don't have vitamin C, you don't make collagen, so you've got no wound repair. Your skin starts to fall apart. You don't have near the UV protection. People that have high levels of vitamin C and bioflavonoids, there's some interesting research that they're finding they sunburn far less easier and recover much more rapidly from the sunburn. And then also regulation, sunspots, hyperpigmentation. These are things that can be addressed by vitamin C as well. So the primary genes impacted when we're talking basically the your skin health, photoaging protection. We've got collagen type 1, alpha 1, MMP1, SIRT1, P53, enormous. That is the guardian of the genome, and bioflavonoids and vitamin C are enormous for this P53 and bifidobacterium, which are super involved in P53. Vitamin C helps them to replicate and crowd out other pathogenic bacteria in the digestive tract and promote the growth of the bifidobacteria as well. So we get VEGF, we get FASN, and so the symptoms of the deficiency: premature skin aging, wrinkles, sunspots, loss of skin elasticity, increased vulnerability to UV damage, skin pigmentation issues, also slow wound healing. So anybody, especially as we start getting into the elderly community, we're seeing this slow wound healing, and then obviously poor oral health that is drastically linked to a vitamin C deficiency adding up over time. So the conclusion on these are they're very straightforward. Basically, if you want to help improve your collagen, fiber connectin, reduce wrinkles, bring skin elasticity, wound healing, and all the collagen production, these bioflavonoids and vitamin C are at the center component of this. And a lot of people say, well, I'm going to take a whole bunch of collagen and collagen load and improve myself. Be like, it's actually way more affordable to just take more vitamin C, and you're going to get a lot more out of it besides just your skin health. So weight loss and metabolism. Bioflavonoids are huge for enhancing fat oxidation, promoting lipid metabolism, improving insulin sensitivity, boosting thermogenesis, and improve the activity of AMP activated protein kinase, AMPK, which is a really big enzyme involved in energy balance, fat metabolism, and glucose regulation. So these bioflavonoids, we've got PPAR alpha, we've got CBT1A, AMPK, FASN, LEP, ghrelin, tumor necrosis factor alpha, interleukin 6. So these bioflavonoids also help to modulate leptin and ghrelin levels, which control hunger and satiety. So this way we can help support caloric intake regulation, weight management, directly boost metabolism, and all the previous benefits that we have discussed thus far. So people that have difficulty losing weight or excess fat accumulation and being able to ward off lipid peroxidation, which is basically like tires burning in your body. We get that lipid peroxidation of all this, inflammation and byproducts that come from it, especially seed oils. So the research, the conclusion, we can work with the blood pressure, weight loss, metabolism, fat oxidation, insulin sensitivity, regulating appetite, healthy metabolic rate. These are all things that can be that are directly tied to bioflavonoids and vitamin C as well. So blood sugar regulation. Bioflavonoids are actually very much at the center of even blood sugar regulation. So when your vitamin C and bioflavonoid levels are low, you're actually going to get decreased insulin sensitivity, decreased glucose utilization, and decreased inflammation reduction. So we've got glucose transporters like GLUT4 that actually help uptake the glucose into the cells and improve overall glycemic control. Bioflavonoids and vitamin C are right at the center of that. So we got ISR1, GLUT4, PPR, Y gamma, TNF alpha, interleukin 6. There that one is again. SIRT1, there it is again. AMPK, there it is again. And so these symptoms of the deficiency can be elevated blood sugar levels, insulin resistance. Fatigue is a huge one because it's massively involved in recycling stress compounds, especially in the adrenals. Also impaired glucose metabolism, increased risk of type 2 diabetes. So we have the research behind these as well, and you can very quickly find research on bioflavonoids and their health benefits as it goes to weight management, blood sugar, insulin sensitivity, insulin glycemic control, and even hunger and satiety. So detoxification, this is one of the big ones, phase one and phase two, using the cytochrome P450 and the phase two detoxification, getting rid of and promoting conjugation of toxic compounds by working with glutathione, sulfurate, or glucuronic acid. Vitamin C is like your liver's number one powerhouse for helping you detox, and not just the liver, the entire body. So anybody that's trying to do any kind of detoxification, a lot of people really mistake this that they're going to say, hey, I'm going to take cilantro or start, these other herbs that are great for detox. Be like, listen, if you don't have enough vitamin C, all those other herbs and all that detox you're trying to push is actually going to be probably fairly counterproductive because without enough vitamin C to work with like the CYP1A, that's a huge one, the cytochrome P450 1A1, that's an enormous one. And then being able to have GSTP1 and SALT 1A1, UGT 1A1, NRF2, NQO1, you're going to get impaired detoxification, toxin accumulation. Liver stress is a big one. If the liver's already stressed, please don't try to go do a detox and put more stress onto it. Start with getting your vitamin C levels set first. So all the researches, all the conclusions, the vitamin C and these bioflavonoids are dead center of everything detox related. So if you're going to do a detox and you're not sure where to start, the best place to start, this would be Glyco C plus and the big C from GlycoGenix here. They are your number one place to start for detoxification, not only because they directly help to detoxify everything, but they help the liver, the kidneys, and the rest of the body actually be able to deal with these things on the way out and push them out. So these are huge for being able to assist is using that. So liver health, liver protection. Anybody that drinks alcohol or is on any kind of medications, things that are or just have abused their liver, liver infections. So we can help reduce this oxidative stress, boost the detox process, and support this liver detoxification in both phase one and phase two through the CYP450 and glutathione S transferase generation and modulation. These are absolutely enormous ones. So big genes, CYP1A1, GSTP1, NQO1, NRF2, LXR alpha, PPAR alpha, TNF alpha. And there's actually another one called an Icarus gene, which is really interesting to get into as well when we get down the line, maybe another day. So basically, being able to have this vitamin C supports sulfation, glutathione components, phase one, phase two detoxification, really big, helping to offset fatty liver disease. And so we also get neurotransmitter production and utilization. So bioflavonoids and vitamin C are actually critical to neurotransmitter synthesis, such as dopamine, serotonin, acetylcholine. GABA is actually an enormous one that most people don't know. So GABA is the brakes in your brain when you're getting overstimulated. GABA is the one that says, hey, slow down, not so fast. The problem is you need to, number one, have vitamin C in order to utilize or in order to generate GABA, but in order for it to be utilized and uptaken by the nerves, you have to have vitamin C. So there's a lot of people that go out there and be like, hey, I'm going to boost my GABA or I'm going to take these GABA boosting compounds. It's like, that's cute. But if your nerve cells can't pick up that GABA, you're missing the point. So vitamin C, we get to go MAO1 neurotransmitter breakdown. And so they really enhance the activity of monoamine oxidase inhibitors. And synaptic function. Bioflavonoids help to modulate synaptic plasticity, neurogenesis, and this improves neurotransmitter signaling and overall brain function all at once. So we've got SCL6A4, MAOA, COMT, TH, the tyrosine hydroxylase, CHRNA7, that one I'm not horribly familiar with, BDNF, MAPK1. And so the symptoms of the deficiency, mood disorders, depressions, anxiety, especially people that are busy getting their dopamine hits, scrolling on social media, where it's constantly feeding that. We become addicted to these cell phones and these screens and the screen time. And what that does to us, vitamin C is really big at helping you get out of that serotonin addiction and dopamine trigger state. So cognitive decline, poor memory, fatigue, difficulty focusing, impaired synaptic plasticity, neurodegeneration, problems with neurotransmitter function. So the research and the conclusions on this are very, very, very well documented in how bioflavonoids are and vitamin C are at the cornerstone of mental health in so many different ways. So, and then obviously pain and inflammation management, COX2, 5 lipoxygenase, enzymes for responsible for the synthesis of prostaglandins and leukotrienes. So NFKB, TNF alpha, interleukin 6, interleukin 1 beta. These support the body's natural pain relief mechanisms by producing endogenous opioid receptors and reducing inflammatory markers. So we have COX2, TNF alpha, IL-6, NFKB, PPAR gamma, adiponectin, IL-1B, MMP1. So we could list these off for hours of the number of genes that are impacted by bioflavonoids that are related to inflammation and the anti-inflammatory components of them. So these are just a few of like the quercetin and the other ones. These are only a fraction of all the different bioflavonoids that are out there. And that's why we use 7 different whole food sources to say, let's get the entire spectrum of bioflavonoids, not just one little corner piece of it. Let's get the whole thing all at once. So this information, obviously educational purposes only. We do not ever claim that our products are going to treat, cure, or diagnose any kind of diseases whatsoever. But we can say for certainty that there is a large volume of scientific literature on the health benefits through antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, cardioprotective, neuroprotective, oxidative stress reduction, and supporting of all of these systems, detoxification. Vitamin C and bioflavonoids are right in the middle, but remember, like I talked about at the very beginning, to sum this up, vitamin C is the all-star, but without the rest of its team, the bioflavonoids, that all-star, it can't win the game. That's why we compounded and had these 7 different whole food sources to be able to create Glyco C plus and the big C to say, give everybody everything, give them the whole spectrum and make sure that your body has the whole team to go with its star player vitamin C. So Thank you for tuning in tonight, you guys. I hope this was a bunch of fun and you can go back and research any of the genes and bioflavonoids. We encourage that heavily. By all means, please Google Scholar them up, go to PubMed, go anywhere you want, ask AI, whatever it is you want to do, you can ask about bioflavonoids, vitamin C, any one of the genes that we mentioned, and any one of the health components that we can, health issues that we can help solve and really bring something to balance the equation for your body. So, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, we appreciate you so much. Your support means the world to us. Stay tuned for many more of these presentations as we can get to them because things have been very busy, but that's not a bad thing. And we cannot wait to bring you some of these new products and new announcements and things that are coming in the very near future. So stay tuned and we will see you soon.